and welcome to Woodsman's Finest. This is Max. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about the Meindl Dovre Pro by the Bavarian brand Meindl. This is a wide model, and for me this shoe has been a game changer in my outdoor life, and I would like to tell you about it. Hello everybody, welcome to another video here on my channel. This is Max from Woodsman's Finest. Today I'm coming at you from central Sweden. It is actually a beautiful December day. We had already minus 20 degrees Celsius over the last few weeks, and now for some reason it went back to around 0 degrees. So I really wanted to bring a video to you from the super white crisp north with everything being totally frozen, but that's what the situation is right now. So welcome to another video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're talking about shoes, boots in fact, and I'm really trying to do this one justice because this one is pretty close to me. It's got a little bit of history, so I try to make it not so boring for you. I think when you're a lot in the outdoors and when you're getting older, there are a couple things become pretty clear. The things that really have a huge impact on your life, and especially when you're outdoors, what can make or break a trip is pretty much three things for me: quality of food, quality of sleep, and quality of taking care of your feet. That might sound a little bit weird, but I've done extensive trips all over the world, and I've got pretty wide feet. And one experience that I've definitely made is that having foot pain, having different wear on your feet over longer periods of time, having cold feet due to wrong fit of shoes or boots, or having a problem with your ankle like I do with ripped tendons in my knees and ankles, shoes make a huge difference. So over the years, me having a very wide foot but with a regular heel, if you will, that is just like kind of getting wider at the front, a little bit funnel shaped, from me being a more stocky guy, being a little bit heavier, but also spending pretty much most of my life training on bare feet on mats and on regular hard floor, doing different types of martial arts and combat sports like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Thai boxing. My feet just became a little bit more muscular, wider and wider. It was harder for me and harder to get boots especially to fit me. I was still able to wear different other types of shoes that are naturally just flat and wider, but especially when it came to boots and hiking boots especially, made for some harsher terrains, if you will, it was extremely difficult. So usually I went with two different routes. Either I bought my shoes too long, too big in order to make them wider, which was terrible for my heels and for the fit, especially when hiking, or I just went with the shoes of my length, if you will, and just suffered from having usually extremely worn down pinky toes, having numb feet, having really uneven wear on my soles, and shoes wouldn't last very long and my feet wouldn't last very long. Now I hope that the lighting is still half good. It is 2 o'clock here in Sweden, which means the sun is down at this point. So I hope you guys don't mind. Well, so over the years I came across a lot of different ideas when it came to shoes. And some of them were barefoot boots, which wouldn't hold up very long, especially not in real use. Maybe in some occasional hiking or a little bit of urban whatever, but not the kind of trips, canoe trips, hiking, being outdoors, doing lots of archery, bow hunting, working in the shop, wouldn't hold up to that. And like I said, the other way that I went was with just buying shoes straight up that weren't fitting me. Now I came across Meindl a long time ago because I'm partially Bavarian, half Austrian, half Bavarian, if you will. And my grandma is from Bavaria, and for them Meindl boots, made since 1600 odd years, which is nearly 400 years I think at this point that they're made in this Bavarian town, very close to where my grandma was born. And for her, Meindl was always a brand of highest quality, and so she always recommended them. So at some point we actually went there where these boots are still made in Bavaria. And I had these very boots in my hand. Not that the boots are extremely expensive, but at that time I just didn't realize that me buying used boots off the internet over and over again, trying to find something that fits me, was at that point by far exceeding the price of one or even two pairs of these boots. So without further ado, a couple years down the road actually, just had bought a couple more boots that didn't fit me again. Really frustrated. I went back to the original idea, getting me the Dovre Pro Wide model, and I've never looked back. They came, I bought them from Germany for I think 260 euro. They arrived and I loved everything about them. Now I'm not gonna stand here and repeat whatever it says on the box of the shoe. I can tell you what my experience with it is. First of all, when I first slipped into them with my rather wide feet, it felt like sneakers. And the other thing that happened was that I nearly fell over backwards because the shoes I had before, my Lovas, Mountain GTX, had such a high rise in the heel that, because they were made first and foremost for mountaineering, that you were really standing in them in a completely different angle. Now these boots here are trekking and hiking boots, and I would recommend them for everything up to maybe 1500 to 2000 meters altitude. But they're also made for trekking and for hiking and walking long distances. So the heel, if you will, has a lot less rise, and it has a lot more neutral feel when you stand in it, which I absolutely love. Now, if you're wondering what I'm wearing right now, I'm actually wearing another boot by Meindl called the Guffert MFS in their comfort line, which is also a wide boot, and it has the exact same sole on here. And I've shot that video about those boots actually a few months ago up here in Sweden as well, and it's gonna come out after this one because this is kind of in a chronological order, the first boot I got. And yeah, so my idea after finding a brand and a boot that finally fit me was to get another boot right away, so I can switch between them back and forth, so I don't wear them out as much and as quickly. Now back to this one. The feel in this one was extremely neutral, very comfortable. Finally, I didn't have any pain in my toes anymore. I was just able to use my feet actually in these. The other thing that was just striking me right away was the rather dark oiled texture of the leather. And I have these for 14 months now. I've used them, and I brought these two boots up to Sweden knowing that they're gonna be perfect for me teaching carving, going in the woods, hiking long 10, 15, 20 kilometers. I have not oiled them, or I haven't taken care of these boots in the first 12 months. The first time that I really started to apply anything to these was after a year. And they have been thankful for that, but they didn't look bad before that at all. It was amazing. The Gore-Tex membrane held up completely. So when I unboxed them, the first thing that really struck me was the beautiful texture of the leather, top grain German leather with a really good amount of tallows and fats in them. The next thing that was, of course, really obvious was the high rubber rand. In Austria, in our Alps, and where we're hiking, sharp rocks, gravel is the norm. So you're definitely constantly rubbing your boots along sharp corners and gravel fields. And having a high rubber rand like this that gives the boot a little bit more stiffness while still having it nice and flat has been an incredible combination for me. So the high rubber rand is something that I absolutely adore about this boot. Not only does it look absolutely kick-ass amazing, but it also really functions super well for my application, being in the woods every day, but especially also hiking in the Austrian Alps where I'm living. The boot is not as high as the Guffert, but it has a really, really good height, and it feels very light on the foot compared to a lot of other boots that I've had. And it feels very, what can I say? It feels very crisp. It is very minimalist compared to the Guffert as well. There's not a lot of extra padding. There's not a lot of extra insulation or anything like that. The boot just feels fast on your feet. It's almost, it sounds weird, but it's almost like a light, modern, sporty hiking boot, but it is done completely in leather, Gore-Tex, and with a very traditional look compared. But feeling wise, this is a very fast boot, and I'm using it in summer a lot when I don't need a lot of extra insulation. Just shorts, light pack, and up the mountain. This is where this boot is really at home. And of course, every single day in my shop, spoon carving, preparing wood, green wood, being out in the woods doing archery, which I also do every single day. This boot is with me all the time. Now, there's not a lot more to say about this boot per se. I love the shape. This kind of turtle-ish toe box is really what makes this, in my opinion, the absolute best hiking and trekking boot up to about 2,000 meters altitude that I personally have ever come across. The Bavarian brand it is made by Meindl, is still located where they have been located since the 1600s. They're sticking with quality, they're sticking with what has worked for them for several hundred years. And whenever I had a question about something, they were very quick and easy to get back to me. So that was great as well, because making an investment like a boot like this sometimes just needs some extra information, and it has never been a problem to get a hold of them and ask specifically for my type of feet what to get. So is there anything bad about this boot? No, I have not found anything for me particular. I would say, if anything, I would like an inch higher, but then again, there is a different version of this boot called the Dovre Extreme, which is the exact same boot in a higher configuration. Goes about, I don't know, 30 centimeters shaft length or something like that. That is specifically for the harsher conditions like here in Sweden up north, hunting, and with more deep snow or marshy conditions, completely Gore-Tex up there. So there is a different configuration of this very boot if you want it higher, which I've worn and I absolutely adore it as well. So is there much else to say? I don't know. I'm happy that I finally have a configuration for my wide feet that allow me to do everything a lot more comfortably, a lot more warm, with healthy feet. And at the end, it has really changed my outdoor experience, that I have footwear that fits me personally. And I'm happy to support a company that has stuck to quality and integrity for this long, despite a lot of temptations, I guess, to up profit, produce cheaper, and they haven't done that. So I hope, folks, that you have liked this video. I hope you also liked a little bit of the footage I put in here from the hikes. And if you have any questions about this, let me know, or try to get a hold of Meindl. They have distributors, as I understand, everywhere in the world, as well up here in Sweden. And yeah, I really hope that this video was fun for you to watch, and a little bit of Swedish vibe here around the Christmas time and the New Year's time. So if this video is coming out after Christmas, I still wish you a happy New Year. Thank you very much for the support over all the time. Check out the links below where you can support me with my tool line, my spoons, my leather craft, and my course page, of course. And thank you very much. Stay safe, and I'm gonna catch you next time. Cheers.